I'm William Lindsay, the Director of the Office for Aboriginal Peoples here at Simon Fraser University, and I just want to open by acknowledging the local traditional territories of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Musqueam, and Coquitlam peoples. And I'm going to do a welcome song for you. So this is our First Nations way to welcome all people who come to a gathering like this. And I'm Cree by background, but and I know some Prairie Cree songs, but I've learned a West Coast one through my friend and colleague Gary George, who works in the Indigenous Student Center here. So I have his family's permission to use this song to welcome you all here today. So here we go. So no need to stand. People kind of get confused. Should I stand? Should I sit? Should I kind of half stand and look around? But just please stay how you are and just enjoy this song, which comes from the George family up in northwestern BC. So just to say a bit more about that, in traditional times you would have all been sitting and then we would have sang out your nation, at which time you would have stood up to be recognized by the family or host nation who was hosting the event. So, but under the circumstances today we could be doing that for an hour or so. But I just want to say I'm really happy to be here. This is about sustainability, and I know from my people's perspective, having belief in Mother Earth and looking after it, that this work that is being done is very, very important. And I still remember my own father when I was growing up making sure that we'd pick up the litter around the campsite when we were ready to leave. And as a boy, I took that with me into adulthood, and now make sure I put my banana peel where it's supposed to go, garbage, recycling where it's supposed to go. But that was ingrained in me as a child. And so when we see this work going on, we're training our young ones, hopefully as well, to set an example for future generations to look after this beautiful earth and planet, Mother Earth, which we all share. So I just wanted to say that from a First Nations perspective today. So without further ado, we want to welcome President Petter to come on up, and he's going to as well say a few words to him.
Well, thank you very much, William, for that wonderful song and welcome and the acknowledgement of traditional territories. It's great to see this turnout and to see the community come together for the 20-year Sustainability Vision launch and Goals launch celebration event. I know there's a lot of work that's gone into this, and a lot of people have participated to get us to this day. I believe the vision's been the result of almost a year-long process. It's been typically, as SFU bills itself, an engaged process that has involved people from within and without the university community. It's involved students and faculty and staff and even administration across all three campuses working together to really think about where do we want to go over the next 20 years, long term. As important as it is to think about what we can do today, and it is, and over the next 5 years, and that's another process that's about to get underway, the idea of thinking really beyond that time frame into a time frame that challenges us to be more ambitious, more creative, and to think what kind of community, what kind of university, what kind of contribution we want to make over that longer period of time, I think really challenged us all to test ourselves and our community's commitment to sustainability. And I think the result is one of which we can all be proud. I hope I don't have to tell you that sustainability is a priority for Simon Fraser University. It is, of course, embedded in our strategic vision. The vision commits us to pursue ecological, social, and economic sustainability through our programs and operations, and to seek and share solutions through teaching and learning, research, and community engagement. But words are one thing, putting those words into practice is something else. And I've just been so proud since I arrived at this university some 6 years ago to see the commitment and the work that has gone on to have us make those words something that we live and act on a daily basis. And for SFU to really establish itself as a leader in sustainability. I know that didn't just happen in the last 6 years either. There was a grassroots movement within this university well before that. In fact, I think about 3 decades ago, with students and faculty members and staff saying this university really needed to step up and to take on the challenge of sustainability and to reduce its environmental footprint and to create a sustainable community next door, which I'm very proud we're doing through University and demonstrating sustainable practices there as well. And I think we're at a point where community members and stakeholders not only expect that we demonstrate sustainability, they demand it. And I'm happy to say that I think we meet that demand, that it has become part of the fabric of this institution to really focus on how we can contribute. But as such, we don't take ourselves commitment for granted. And that's why I think this exercise around how we can create a 20-year plan is important, because it focuses our mind and it, as I say, challenges us to really come up with where do we go next on this journey to show what sustainability really means for us and hopefully provide an example to others. The next step will be the development of the 5-year plan that hopefully will move us towards that 20-year goal. So those of you who are a little exhausted from the 20-year exercise, you may get a day or two off, but not much more, because I know Candace and others are going to be back asking you to step up and participate and contribute to how we can now operationalize that vision and build on what we've accomplished to this point over the next 5 years. And you know, it's really heartening to see how much progress we have made and to see the recognition we're gaining, not only from within the community but beyond. And I could point to any number of different examples, but let me just give you 3 fairly recent examples. There was a wonderful process that took place, and full credit to SFU 350 and others for pushing the university and the board to think about how we could approach our investments in a way that reflected our environmental commitments. And as a result, the board just a few months ago committed itself to decrease the carbon footprint of our investment portfolio by some 30% by the year 2030. And that was a major step forward, and I think one that sent a real signal to other universities. There's only one other university in Canada that has actually made a similar commitment, and that's the University of Ottawa, but I think others are now being challenged to follow suit. Our Zero Waste Initiative has been incredibly successful, diverting 75% of our total waste from landfills since 2014. And we became the first university in North America to develop a fully standardized 4-stream waste management system. And I hope you all put your stuff in the right part of the collective 4-stream bins. I sometimes reach in and pick it and put it in the other one. Probably, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do that, but why is that there, you know? On energy consumption, even though we've grown as a university, we've been successful at decreasing by 2% annually our reduction of our consumption of energy since 2010. And that's certainly positioning us in the right direction. I think we may take another further big leap forward if the biomass facility goes ahead, as I hope it will, using waste wood to replace natural gas to provide hot water for us and for University. And it's not only the university, it's the energy and the initiative of individuals that I find so inspiring. And again, any number of examples come to mind, but in order to offend no one in particular, let me just focus on the 3 people who happen to be the winners of this year's President Sustainability Leadership Awards. Tessa Ramburn, President of SFU 350, and as I say, SFU 350 really showed how advocacy well done can not only make a powerful statement about sustainability, but actually get an institution and the board of that institution to reframe the issue and to move forward in a way that a year ago was not on the board's mind and wouldn't have happened but for SFU 350. A wonderfully effective example of advocacy. And I want to say that while we made some real moves in that direction, SFU 350 said the right things in terms of expressing appreciation to the board, but also, like a good advocate said, but you haven't done enough. And we'll be back. And we'll make sure you do what you said you would do, but even if you do, there's more to be done. In a way that was civil, forceful, and compelling. And I am so appreciative of the work that group did. And our board chair said at the moment it was the most moving moment for him as a longtime member of the board to see that transformation take place because of the interaction of the board with the students and the mutual conversation and commitment that emerged out of that. Terry Evans, who's also a winner of President's Sustainable Leadership Award in the staff category this year, Tessa obviously in the student category, co-founder of the Coquitlam Farmers Market, and a driving force behind new sustainability courses that are under development in urban studies. And Nick Delvey, professor of marine biology and conservation. You may have well seen stories about Nick, because Nick has been a major advocate on the whole issue of shark conservation and the serious concerns we have about the extirpation or elimination of shark species. And he's been doing that through research, through public awareness, through government relations, through business advocacy, and yes, through community engagement. So just 3 examples of literally, well, I'd say thousands across this university of students and staff and faculty and even administrators occasionally, making individual contributions that together are moving us forward in ways that I must say and I think we all are incredibly proud to be associated with. Now there's work ahead. There's the 5-year plan. The 20-year plan is aspirational, but in order to achieve those aspirations, it has to be a little perspirational too. So we're going to all have to perspire a little to make sure that we don't let up in our efforts and that we move forward. The good news is we have a great team of people within this room and in the sustainability office to help us move forward. So I want to congratulate all of you and them for getting us this far, but I do want to then turn over the microphone to the person who really, I must say, has been the driving force behind the 20-year vision and has herself been a former student advocate of sustainability, managed to make the transfer into administration, but without letting up at all in terms of driving us forward on our sustainability commitments. So please join with me in welcoming the Director of SFU's Sustainability Office, the dynamic, persistent, and successful Candice Leroy.
Wow, that was amazing. Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming. This is really amazing to see all of these people in the same room. I never could have imagined it could be like this. It's great. I started work as a student in sustainability in 2003 as an undergraduate student at SFU. And we were frustrated by our efforts to start a composting program of all things. So the 4-stream bins are a great success. And so we started a student club. We wanted to do more. We wanted to change the system. And we quickly became a large organization. We attracted a lot of students who wanted to do the same thing and work with the administration to do something different. So our goal was to lobby the university for a sustainability office. Yay! Some sustainability policies. And of course, we had absolutely no idea how to go about doing this. We were a little naive about our ambitions, and we didn't really know how to navigate the university system very well. So there were a few folks who recognized our enthusiasm, but not much more. But overwhelmingly, we found a lot of allies across the campus. Pat Hibbets, may she rest in peace, was a great supporter of our work and met with us really early in the game. Several members of the facilities services team helped us navigate the policy and operational structures we didn't really understand that were getting in our way. Faculty members and staff in the SFSS Student Services, and even the President's Office at the time helped us develop sophisticated strategies for how to bring people together and gain agreement as we went along. And the result was the development in 2005 of the first Sustainability Advisory Committee. And this is a committee that brought together students and staff and faculty and the new university community as well, all into the same room. So I learned then very quickly, and I continue to appreciate every day as I am today, that we really achieve so much more when we work together. It couldn't be a single student, it couldn't even be a single student group, that all of us brought that success to bear. So that was really exciting. And in the 14 years that I've been working at, in sustainability at SFU, somewhat stubbornly perhaps, I've been really deeply inspired by so many people. I mean, look around, there's so many people in this room from all different walks of life and different areas of the campus. So it's pretty incredible. And we are, I would say, quite rich in enthusiasm, and we're quite keen on positive change. But when the rubber hits the road, I think our greatest assets are our people. So we continue to have incredible people who are working selflessly, very often without recognition or reward in the background, who just chip away every year at the things that need to be done. The daily stuff, the stuff that's not always inspiring, that doesn't always make the media, that doesn't always get a paper award to recognize, but they really make it happen. So I'm going to mention a few of them, even though I can't mention everyone because it would take hours to go through all of the names, which is really exciting. But I think it's worth to show a little bit of the history in terms of where this all come from and how much people have contributed through the years. So Sam DeHaby, who's now retired and can't be here today, started an energy program when energy management wasn't really a thing, it wasn't cool to do. And now we have one of the most award-winning programs in the world at SFU. Wendy Lee, who's here today, and Casey Bell, who drove the sustainability initiative and developed the first ever continuing position in sustainability. Thank you. And then the Sustainability Office. They carried on the work that we were very keen to do with students, and they made it happen. Without them, we never would have had any of this stuff. So Laurie Anderson, Norbert Honerlin, Aaron Geary, Terry Waterhouse, and John Pierce, some of which are here today, wrote the first University Sustainability Strategic Plan back in 2012, 2013, when we didn't have anything like it. We didn't know where to start, and they did it kind of off the side of their desks, and it was pretty inspiring to see that happen. Janet Moore, Mark Roseland, David Zandvlia, and other ambitious faculty who guided us along the way and were inspired by us, and we were inspired by them taking their classes, doing sustainability curriculum and programming before the UN made an announcement that this was a critical priority. So they were leading the field right from the beginning. And then we have Elizabeth Ellie, Tim Tucaro, Stephanie Bertels, and others who are contributing to groundbreaking research and putting SFU on the map. They're creating solutions to global problems that we really need. So our research is critically important. And finally, alumni like Aaron Daly from Embark Sustainability, students in the SFSS and the GSS and SFU 350, and many other students who come and talk to us every day that are driving change. They walk the talk, but they also remind us of the urgency of our cause. They keep us on track, and our responsibility as leaders to take risks and boldly go where others dare not. They keep us honest in this work very much. So the last list is my own team. Erica Lay, who designed and implemented this extensive year-long genuine engagement process, really taking our mission of engaged community to heart, and a process that led to this vision and brought us here today. Thank you. Erica's sitting up here. Rachel Telling, who's driven on the Zero Waste Initiative, has become globally recognized and awarded so that we're competing with people like the government of Scotland, of all places. So that's pretty successful. Pega Jamzad, who's helping us achieve the very highest rating of sustainability we can get, which is STARS Platinum. Manny McDougall, who's developing Sustainable Spaces certification. There's a lovely poster in the back there. So now you can certify your lab, your office, your dining hall, or your event. This one will be a pilot. And then Ashley Irwin, who's putting us on the map. You're going to see a video that she's worked on. So you can see she's trying to promote our successes and talk about the things that we're doing, because we need to celebrate as well as work hard and think about the future. And then Terry Ruddy, who's working directly with students to learn from them and work with them to find out how we can better empower them. How can we bring the next generation of students into the university to work hard? So all the people in this room have contributed in some way. That's why many of you got personal invitations and many reminders, because we really feel that there's no way that we could do any of this without you. And this is a really short list, although it's probably seemed long. But it's critical to remember that these are all the people that are contributing to this initiative. It's not just our office, it's not just one person. Every one of us has a part to play, and that's really important to remember. So I think that together, with our determination and continued hard work, indeed, we can and will achieve this vision and the next 5-year plan. So 14 years ago, I could never have imagined would have gotten so far and achieved so much. I'm very proud to see all the work that we've done. This is really great. And I hope that in 20 years from now, my son will stay here and go to school at SFU, and he will walk across that stage in Convocation Mall, and he will be proud of the work that we did to lead him there. That would be my dream. So I want to thank you all for your contributions and your support, for taking the time out of your busy days to come here and celebrate with us. And I'm going to invite Dima up. There we go, perfect. Who is a student, who's a member of the student organization, Embark now, that has its roots in the student organization we started 14 years ago. So I think that's a really nice transition, and it's great to have a student perspective from today. Thank you.
When I was a 5-year-old boy in a country far, far away, my favorite pastime was, of course, playing with my friends. But we had a very unusual routine. Instead of just running around or playing soccer, we would go to our local and highly polluted creek, and we would try to clean it as best as we could. We would, take the plastics and dispose of them. And after we were done, we would go and try to shelter and feed local stray cats. I remember this incredible feeling of satisfaction whenever we were doing this. Helping society around me through helping nature quickly became my passion. I learned a lot from it, but perhaps the most important lesson that I've learned was that young people are the powerful force of change, and that by working together we can master seemingly complex and challenging tasks. Fast forward several years, and this passion brought me here today. My name is Dima. I'm the incoming chair on the board of directors of Embark Sustainability Society, a student-led and independent non-for-profit on campus that empowers more than 30,000 graduate and undergraduate students, our members, to become leaders in sustainability. Firstly, let me congratulate all of us on behalf of our members. This is truly an important step for SFU. But it is crucial to acknowledge that we came here today not just to celebrate the unveiling of the goals, but to celebrate the process of creating them, when all of us came together, hoping and promising to work for a better future. It was not just students, it was not just faculty or administration putting their ideas separately. We worked together, and it was a joint venture. And as with many ventures of this sort, the outcome was much greater than the sum of its components. We are the powerful force of change. There is one particular memory that comes to mind when I think about the process of setting these goals. Almost a year ago, I was lucky to participate in one of the dialogue sessions that was facilitated by the Sustainability Office. It was a very encouraging experience, discussing different ideas and visions about the future with such a diverse group. There were students, educators, staff, administration, and community members. But what inspired me the most is how the process broke down the barriers in age, occupation, or experience, and how we all were working together despite our differences. It is great to see so many dedicated individuals in the room celebrating this important milestone. Nevertheless, we need to remember that this event is not the end of the process, but it's just the beginning of the continuous journey and relentless work towards sustainability goals. As an organization, Embark is dedicated to engage students in change-making and inspire them to be leaders in sustainability. We do so through grants, advocacy, and student design programming. In particular, we focus on climate action, mobility, and food security. These are important sustainability categories that SFU students, amongst other things, will be working on to achieve SFU's shared vision. Students are the agents of change, and it has been reflected in the work that Embark has done in the previous years. For example, the most recent important achievement, as President Peter has mentioned, in climate action area has been the passing of 30 by 30 policy, a 30% reduction in university endowments by 2030. On which Embark and SFU 350 have been working together in collaboration with the Board of Governors and the responsible committee, investment committee. I thank one more time everyone who has been involved with it. Now, following the example of the University of Laval, we have the opportunity not just to achieve these objectives of this policy, but to surpass them further. In mobility focus area, we advocated parking services and sustainable mobility for the improvement of cycling infrastructure and to propose the cycling commuter station. In food security area, we worked on ongoing projects, and we still work on ongoing projects such as learning garden and food rescue, and give students the know-how to cultivate their own food, the knowledge that they can bring to their communities. The projects we supported through grants have been on a variety of issues such as youth solution to housing affordability, provision of eye care to remote communities, cigarette waste recycling and disposal, and destigmatization and support of women living with HIV around issues of sex and intimacy. These are just some examples of the projects that we supported in the past years. And I'm also proud to say that Embark supported the development of these goals through our Student Sustainability Summit, the process that reached to over 500 students. All of this work reflects our core belief that when it comes to sustainability, students should not be just at the table. They should be the ones that setting the agenda in consultation with administration and faculty. Students are the powerful force of change. At the end, I want to reiterate the significance of our collective achievement. Today, we are facing the rise of anti-science attitudes in the society, and many of us are really scared for the future. Therefore, it is more important than ever for institutions like SFU to continue the lead in sustainability field and show everyone what we can achieve if we work together. The goals are the product of collaboration, and today is the moment for us to celebrate the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Dima. And thank you all for coming today. Sustainability is a key element of the work at our university, and Candace and Dima have been involved in this work from two different perspectives, as well as each and every one of you. I came to sustainability in perhaps a roundabout way. I'm passionate about process. And for me, sustainability is a practice and a process. It is not an endpoint. To move the needle on sustainability, we need to understand different perspectives and needs. This university's commitment to engagement allowed us to create a process to design our sustainability future together, to explore those different perspectives and needs. I'd like to take some time today to walk you through this process. Quickly, not through all of the steps, because we might be here for another year, through which this was developed, and to show you some perspectives from some of the participants. To do this, I'm going to show you a short video.
We're a university that prides herself on community engagement. It's the one thing we always talk about. I think it's one thing that we're always really pride ourselves on is having dialogue with community members, which is why we're here like this. So I think if we continue to do that and then share our ideas with the wider community, we'll have more people that are involved in making the university a more sustainable place.
I'm really excited to hear about current students' experiences working in sustainability at the university, and I think there's just so much opportunity there to be harnessed, integrating sustainability into the curriculum.
What excites me about this work is the intersect with other work that's going on campus. What we want to do is we want to look at the health and well-being, not just for our students, but also across the campus.
I feel like there's so much to do, and I really feel that we can actually accomplish it. And what's great about SFU is that it's a small community, and you can really see those differences that we're achieving.
I think it's important that right now we start to look at the win-wins we can achieve when we think about resilience to climate change impacts and reducing our emissions and our carbon footprint.
You don't need to be an expert to have a voice and to meaningfully contribute to these topics, that everybody who has a genuine interest can learn about the topics and has something to say that should be heard.
If you want to preserve the globe, you want to start thinking big as one universe, one globe, so we got to fight it together, right?
So at the Sustainability Office, we wanted to have the SFU community, you, be instrumental in developing the 20-year sustainability vision and goals. We wanted to tap into the multi-generational brain bank of students and staff and faculty and community members that this university has. We did this in many ways, but what we started by asking was, what do you want to see in 20 years? What does a sustainable future look and feel like to you? We asked you this online. We asked you this in person. We asked you this in the hallways during Welcome Week, in your standing and committee meetings in your offices. We invited you to host your own community conversations with your colleagues, your peers, and your friends. We supported Embark to run a student sustainability summit, tapping into another 500 voices from students. And what we learned from you across generations and roles, as Dima spoke to, was that we want to be an institution with a strong sense of community. That you have a clear vision of what a sustainable community looks and feels like, and that you deeply value healthy communities, thriving individuals, and resilient infrastructure. And that the answers reflected an inherent understanding of sustainability, that ecological, economic, and social factors are all intricately linked. With what you told us, we dug more deeply into these ideas. We did this through half-day dialogue sessions, one held on each campus. With support from Shauna Sylvester and Janet Weber at the Center for Dialogue, we created an opportunity to sit down together, staff, students, faculty, community, educators, to dig into the nitty-gritty of the 20-year goals. From the dialogues, we took a rough set of goals that emerged, and we looked at them through the lens of the work of the university, their priorities, and our commitments. We looked at what the university was already doing, at the capital plan, at the Aboriginal strategic plan, at the energy utilization policy, at the strategic research plan and the academic plans. We also looked at the goals through the lens of city, regional, provincial, national, and international commitments, including the Paris Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals. We began to see a lot of overlap. None of these pieces stand alone, and our intent was, as we were designing sustainability goals for the university, to also see how we could help others achieve their plans and their goals. Through this process, we refined this into a draft set of vision and goals. The sustainability and vision and goals went to senior leadership, and then we brought it back to you as a community for feedback over the last summer. Finally, over this summer and fall, we integrated this feedback and resubmitted the vision and goals to senior administration. What you see on these banners, and what you can find online in more detail, is the 20-year vision and goals. And these were passed by the vice presidents in November of 2016. As President Petter, Candace, and Dima captured, today is the day when we can celebrate our collective hard work. And we're not done yet. What we heard alongside your long-term aspirations was an appetite for strong sustainability targets and for transparency. The next step for us is to develop the 5-year sustainability strategic plan, the first incremental step in working towards this 20-year vision, and the beginning of an adaptive planning cycle for sustainability at the university. We are eager to work to implement this alongside you. Sustainability looks different from one person to another, from one institution to another. We are the engaged university. SFU's sustainability vision and the goals that emerged from a year-long process, this is something we created together. It is unique and it is our vision. I would like to, and we are incredibly pleased to have you here today. We wanted to thank you, and we would like to encourage you to turn to your neighbor, and if you have a moment, talk about maybe either what brought you here today or how you would like to be contributing to these goals in your future steps. I also wanted to take this opportunity right now to thank the DAC for working with us to pilot our sustainable events guidelines at this event and working with us to make this event a success. This group of dedicated staff are a great example of how we each play a role in moving the needle at SFU. Thank you very much for being here today.